And hello, sports fans. Our championship drive to Indy continues right here inside of Lucas Oil Stadium, the site of the 2022 CFP National Championship game. I'm Mo Carter alongside Naomi Gray, and we just watched an amazing championship game that saw Georgia win their first national championship in 4+ decades as they beat Nick Saban and the Crimson Tide. Now, Naomi, many folks thought Alabama had a chance to actually go back-to-back and defend their crown, but tonight it was all about the Georgia Bulldogs, especially with their second half adjustments and a stellar performance from their quarterback, Stetson Bennett.
Yeah, and speaking of quarterbacks, I said in order for Alabama to be successful, we needed to see Bryce Young be just as effective as he always has been this season. But unfortunately, we didn't see that. He had 369 yards, but he was sacked 4 times. And on top of that, he lost his top receiver in the second quarter after Jamison Williams holding a 40-yard catch. He went down with an apparent knee injury, and he was out the rest of the game. So when you have a big blow like that, how are you going to recover? And then also, you had other receivers to step up. They're young guys. The only receiver who was effective was Cameron Latu, who gave the Tide their sole touchdown of the game. Other than that, they had to rely on field goals, and that's a credit to Georgia and just how good their defense was. They stepped up tremendously since the SEC championship.
Absolutely. And one thing I talked about in my keys to victory for Alabama, they needed to have a balanced attack, and it just was not happening on Monday evening. I mean, Bryce Young drew the ball almost 60 times on Monday night, and the rushing attack, they didn't even eclipse 100 yards on the evening. Brian Robinson Jr. not as effective as he was against Cincinnati. So Bryce had to throw the ball here, there, and everywhere, and things just wasn't happening, especially when his wide receiver were dropping a lot of passes. But on the other side, Stetson Bennett, I mean, he literally came through, and he led Georgia to their first championship in 4+ decades, and he was calm under pressure. He had a very, very big play that some may say was controversial, but then he bounced back, and all of a sudden, he led his team down the field with multiple touchdown passes, and next thing you know, they're champions on Monday evening.
An absolutely gut-wrenching loss for the Alabama Crimson Tide after all they've been through this season. Highs and lows, multiple injuries, and something that I found special was that during his press conference, Nick Saban was consoling Bryce Young and Will Anderson, letting them know that their work did not go unnoticed this season. 2 tremendous players for the Tide, and hopefully that their future remains bright.
I just feel really poorly that we didn't finish the game better than we did in the fourth quarter, because we played a heck of a game against a heck of a team. For the first 3 quarters of the game, congratulate Georgia for the job that they did. But nobody can take the SEC championship away from this team, the Cotton Bowl championship, and I'm extremely proud of everything that this team had to overcome to get to this position, to have an opportunity to win the national championship. We just didn't finish the way we needed to finish.
Now, on the flip side, it was all about Kirby Smart leading his team to a national championship. Now, Naomi, a lot of people recall Kirby Smart from his time with Coach Nick Saban in various places like LSU and Miami and Alabama, winning championships and winning a lot of games in those places. However, his career did start at the University of Georgia. He's one of the few coaches in America who has had a chance to not only play at their school but turn around and coach at their school as well as the head man, and he was able to lead them to a championship on Monday night, the first in 4+ decades. Think about this. Herschel Walker was the last person to lead them to a championship, and now Kirby Smart is the next person to do that.
I'm so happy for the Georgia people. I'm happy for the people that get this. For so many years they've been without it. But I told the guys in the locker room, just take a picture of this. Because I think back to the '80 championship picture and seeing all those players and the Frank Rosses and the Herschel Walkers and all these people that have reached out and said things. Our guys have accomplished that, something special, and they, as they say, they've become legendary. And I want that for them.
An absolute perfect way to close out a tremendous season, the Bulldogs' best in program history. We'll have some more content of them later on when they have their championship press conference.
Covering the CFP National Championship game in Indianapolis, Indiana, I'm Mo Carter. She's Naomi Gray for Fox 54 Sports.